The Nama M1 versus the Almond Cow. When it comes to plant milk makers, these are the best on the market. But which one creates rich and creamy milk and which one leaves you with nutty grit water? Well, in the next 10 minutes, I'm about to show you the key differences between these plant milk makers, the number one reason why I thought about returning one of them, and which one actually delivers on the promise of hassle-free homemade milk. Let's start with the parts. The Almond Cow has a blade assembly on the top and a filter basket that stores the almonds, an aluminum base where you can pour the water, and a collection cup for pulp. All you do is fill the base with water, put your ingredients in the filter basket, attach the basket to the blade assembly, and press the button. The machine runs through cycles where it blends and pauses, and I've seen some similar machines that use the exact same mechanism. But the M1 uses something that's completely different that costed Nama millions of dollars to patent and develop. Does it actually live up to the hype of promised more creamy, richer, velvety plant milks, or does it fall short? Well, we'll find out later. But first, let's start with the 1 liter container. It looks pretty standard, but it actually doubles as a measuring cup. It also has a rubber gasket for an airtight seal when you're storing your plant milks. With this container, your milk should last about 3 days in the fridge. Next is the motor base. The motor seems more powerful than the Almond Cow. On the front is an LED screen which has a timer that gives you step-by-step instructions, and there's a single on-off button with a turn knob to adjust the blend time. Next up is the pitcher. Inside the pitcher is a filter basket, which is pretty much the same as the Almond Cow. This helps remove a lot of the pulp and grit that you don't want in your drink. Inside the basket is a 3-spine blender cage. The edges of this cage are what catch the pulp, and the M1 comes with a silicone mat that doubles as a clean workspace and a sealable storage for leftover pulp. Now, remember when I said Nama spent millions on developing their product? Well, here's what's so special about it. The M1 uses a bidirectional motor. What this means is that after breaking down the nuts into tiny particles, the motor actually reverses direction and spins at about 2,000 rotations per minute. This creates like a centrifuge that gives you super dry pulp, because what's happening is the liquid from the pulp is getting pulled away. With this mechanism, they promise more full-bodied, less watery nut milks. No other milk maker on the market does this double action of shearing and separating simultaneously. But is this technology actually worth it? Well, I can't wait to show you. Point to the M1 for being more innovative. Now, I don't know about you, but I want a machine that's easy to use so I can get my money's worth. Here's how fast you can put together the Nama M1, and here's how fast you can put together the Almond Cow. The M1 is simple, but when I first used the Almond Cow, I got thrown for a big loop. The filter basket needs to be screwed onto the blade assembly, but this can be maddeningly difficult. What you have to do is you have to tilt it to the side, and you have to make room for the blade to fit inside the basket with the almonds already in there. And if you don't get a proper seal, this is where things can really go south. If the basket isn't properly locked and you press the button, then the blades will actually shred the basket, just like this. Another thing is, if you do it right, but you put it on too tight, then it becomes a wrestling match to untwist the thing off. So I'm not a huge fan of this design. For me, the M1 took 10 seconds to assemble, while the Almond Cow took 17 seconds after getting used to it. Point to the M1 for being easier to put together. If you're making plant milk for the whole family, you'll definitely want to pay attention to this next part. The Almond Cow has a max fill line. If you fill it up to this point, you should get about 5 to 6 cups of plant milk per batch. Now, the M1 recommends using 3 to 4 cups of water per 1 cup of ingredients. If you follow the recommendations, the Nama M1 makes about 3 to 4 cups of plant milk per batch. For now, Almond Cow gets the point here, but not by much.
By the way, I'll leave links in the description below, which will help you save money no matter which machine you go with.
Now, there's a massive difference between these two when it comes to the pulp. The M1 is almost powder-like, which means the machine is extracting virtually all of the liquid and all of the flavor from your nuts. The Almond Cow pulp was still somewhat wet and goopy, so you're getting less value from your expensive nuts, but also the resulting milk has less flavor. Both machines let you use the pulp for other recipes like crackers or granola, but the drier Nama pulp seems to be better for baking. Another cool thing about the M1 is they give you this sealable pulp tray, which makes it more convenient and less messy. I also ran a test to see how much milk each machine wastes after a single batch. I took the pulp from each machine and put it inside a nut milk bag. Next, I squeezed as much liquid as I could out of them. For the Almond Cow, it was 129 milliliters, which is like a half cup, and for the M1, it was only 9 milliliters. Point to the M1 for being less wasteful. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, the milk quality. This is where the machines go in 2 separate directions. One of them makes almond flavored water, while the other tastes more full-bodied and rich in flavor. Can you guess which one it is? When I made almond milk with the Almond Cow, I didn't expect this. Even after running multiple cycles, I found it to be be watery. It has to do with the design. The Almond Cow filter basket soaks the almonds at the top, but there's no mixing going on. So what you're getting is watery almond milk at the top and more nutty flavor towards the bottom. Now you could shake it, but because it doesn't do a good job of mixing the ingredients, once it settles, you still kind of get that separation. And you are gonna get some grit inside your glass. So after measuring the grit in the Almond Cow, it came out to about 9 grams per 400 milliliters. Now, the Nama M1 gives you a different result. The milk is rich, more creamy, and has a velvety mouthfeel that you expect from a premium plant milk maker. Is it perfectly smooth with zero grit? For almond milk, no. After measuring the grit in the M1, it came out to about 6 grams per 400 milliliters. But the other plant milks like pistachio and cashews, it was virtually zero. The truth is, almond particles are so freaking tiny that it's super difficult to eliminate all the grit. In the Nama M1, the fine particles are minimal, and I found them less noticeable than in the Almond Cow. If you're ultra sensitive to texture, you can strain both of these using a nut milk bag, but the M1 I found is perfectly drinkable. If you hate cleanup as much as I do, make sure you pay attention to this next part. We'll start with the Almond Cow. First, you just take it apart, then get all the pulp out of the filter. After, you just want to run all the parts underneath some water and make sure that they're all clean. You'll notice that the Almond Cow is pretty big and bulky, so if you have a small sink, it could be a little bit of a pain to do this and to try and get everything underneath the sink spray. Then you just rinse the parts and make sure you thoroughly dry the electrical components. With the Nama M1, there are 2 ways to clean it. First, you just remove the lid, pull out the filter basket, grab the rib cage and rotate it over the mat. Then you just move everything over to the sink. Then you just rinse it the same as you would like the Almond Cow. It also comes with a cleaning brush so you can give it a deeper clean. The M1 also has a self-clean function. You just remove the pulp, same as before, but this time you add warm water and a couple drops of dish soap. Press the button and let the machine run. Neither machine is dishwasher safe, so you'll be hand washing regardless of which one you choose, but the containers that they come with are perfectly okay to put in the dishwasher. The Almond Cow took 1 minute and 37 seconds to clean, while the M1 took 3 minutes and 8 seconds to clean. With the self-clean feature, it takes about 2 minutes, so point to the Almond Cow for being slightly faster. Both machines can make milk from virtually any nut, seed, grain, or almonds, cashews, hemp, any of that stuff. The M1 also lets you make infused oils by blending olive oil with herbs or garlic. Neither machine has a heating element, so if you want to make soy milks, it's going to be a 2-step process where you cook the soybeans yourself. This one is going to be a tie here. Now, the next part could make or break your decision. The Almond Cow retails for about $245, while the Nama M1 costs about $400. That's about a $155 difference, but when you factor in what you're getting, the Nama starts to look like a better investment in the long term. Think about it this way. If you're buying almond milk for $3 to $5 a carton, you could be spending about $200 to $400 every single year. Both machines will eventually pay for themselves, but only if you use them consistently, and that's where the Nama pulls ahead. The Nama comes with a 15-year warranty, while the Almond Cow only comes with a 1-year warranty. The Almond Cow might only last you a few years, but the Nama M1 is guaranteed to last you 15 years. Is the Almond Cow cheaper? Yes, but I think the value that you get with the M1 is much better. If budget is your concern and you want to experiment with making plant milk at home, the Almond Cow can work, but in almost every other aspect, ease of use, milk quality, pulp extraction, long-term value, the Nama M1 is the clear winner. The Nama M1 costs more upfront, but to me, the Almond Cow is just too watery and too complicated for me to get good use out of it. The best plant milk maker is the one that you're actually going to use because it works well and doesn't frustrate you. For me, that's the M1 hands down, and the more I use it, the more I don't regret that decision at all. No matter which one you choose, I'll leave links in the description below that give you the best discount on both of these machines. Just make sure you don't wait because I'm not sure how long these deals will last.